Hello, everybody. This is the Country Fried Gamers, where we like to open stuff and have fun. It's been quite a while since we've had an opportunity to make a video or anything. We moved out to the very rural areas. We're very country now, very, very country. And but we have been playing a good amount of versus. We enjoy this game a lot in our house, and with 6 players that live here, we have a rather diverse metagame, if you will. We don't really follow what's going on in the tournament scene or anything like that. We just have our own games and such. And as a group that has a very limited pool of cards, one ofs or two ofs of each set, we tend to go into a lot of themes and a lot of loyal decks and such like that. Though we do have decks that cross over, and we should be able to share those lists with everybody and stuff like that. We do swap around our cards a lot. But I was going to show one that is the bane of my children's existence. They don't particularly care to play against this deck, but I love it. I'm a huge fan of the movie Predators, and when I had an opportunity to make a deck that was all about that movie, I had to make that deck and then do my very worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation whenever I say the lines. But I won't do that for us here. I will save you guys from that level of embarrassment. All right, so my main hero in this is, or my main character, because we call it, is Dutch. I really enjoyed this card. It is a very controlling card. His level 1, I think, is pretty strong. Pretty strong. There's easy. You can get over it, but his ability to make it so that characters can't team attack, and then he gains an XP every time an opponent makes a solo attack, is really strong. It puts your opponents into a tough spot as to whether or not they want to level him up or no. And he has 6 health, so he does well. His level is 6-7. That's pretty healthy. He loses his range, but he's all in there, just like in the movie. He's covered in mud, and he's doing his fighting. And then his combat ability is pretty rough. I am not afraid to save resources and throw them away, or throw away an Anna, as we'll get to and you'll see. Or even amplify and eat my own resources to give out those sweet, sweet -4/-4s. And that's basically what the theme of this deck is range attacks and -1/-1 attacks. And so that's what this general theme of this deck is sound effects, or not sound effects, but -1/-1 counters and range attacks. All right, so getting into the construction of the deck, we have Anna. Sometimes I play her. Most of the time, she's just a resource. And I don't think I have ever used her reaction ability. Ever. So, but it could be good. It could be good. But I don't have any earth in here. So, I've never used it. So, she's almost always given away to utilize Dutch's abilities. Next, we have Hawkins. I have 4 of those. I have 4 Annas. I really like this guy. He's a solid turn 1. He teams attacks well. He gives leader, which is really good. And I almost always dump the damage into Hawkins. But, he's good in the early game. He's good in the late game. He's just strong. I like him. He's a 4-of. Next, and you'll notice that there's a lot of 4-ofs in this deck. As it is, it's a theme deck. It really goes into what we like about this. Next, we have 4 Billies. He's just... he's a tank. He gets big, quick, and if they don't deal with him fast, then he's a house. A great blocker. The other 2 drop is Poncho. For those, he's the best blocker. I put him out there, and then he's hard to deal with in the early game. A 7 but early is very strong. They have to expend a lot of resources. He also can whittle away those rough back row characters, and his ability is one of the abilities that I use frequently. Him and Duchess. All right. Then we get into 3 or 4 Blaines as well. He draws you cards. he gets in the way, and he can do those sweet team attacks from the ranged row. But mostly he's just a blocker with 2 wounds. Mac is an interesting character. I like him a lot. He's a 4 of a wild. Now we're starting to get into the meat of this deck, and that's where it really does well. He hands out those -1/-1 counters with no effort, which is super good. And then he gets that +2/+2 while he's in combat with characters that have -1/-1 counters. He combos really well with the minigun and the only equipment in this deck, and it just goes well with the theme. I mean, they did a really good job putting this set together. Then we have Dylan. He's an 8/8. I mean, when he's team attacking with somebody, because like virtually everybody but Billy has range in this deck. So when he team attacks with somebody from the back row, it just eats up whatever's in the front row. So the Dutch can do his work. So 4 of those. Then we get into our heavy hitters. I had to put 3 Jungle Hunters in this deck. He's really solid. He's the only one that's not, but he's being hunted, or he hunts them. He's being hunted. It's a really great card. And then when he comes into play, you get to go find a location, put it into play. Sometimes you go get one that you need for Dutch, and sometimes you go get one so that he becomes the most awesome. Because when he's in play, if you have the Valverdan Jungle, he gets +3/+0 in stealth. When you have the Predator ship, he gets +3/+0 in invade. And then with two wounds, he's just a tank. Usually, if he comes out, he'll end the game. My opponents usually just, if they don't have a way to deal with him, they just scoop it up. Because 12/6 with those abilities is out of control. Then I run 3 Dutches for combat tricks. Sometimes it's just great to give that early Dutch the ability to live through that combat. Alright, so then our 4 equipment that we have are the miniguns. The Dutch early as a +1/+1 counter enables this. The early Anna ditching it for activating Dutch's ability and activates this. I mean, this card is out of control good. It makes it so your characters can't be in, your opponent's characters can't be in the front row because you'll just kill them all over and over again. And then when you have multiples in play on different characters and they team attack, nothing lives. This card is very strong, as strong as the Ned, I would think. Then I run 3 open fires just because it's funky and they don't expect to be in a kind of defensive deck to get slapped around. And then 4 of the best card in the game. My children say -0, -4. It frustrates them. It makes my kids worry about what it is that face down resources is. I can just play a Predator or a Jungle Hunter face down early on the first turn, and then they think it's a death trap for the rest of the game, and then it just messes with their combat math, and it's just really solid, really solid. I love this idea of being able to play stuff from your resource row face down and just eating things alive. This one I run 4 shit happens. The only time I really let my kids swear, because they're reading it, it happens, and so it's a solid combat trick too. It goes with the -1/-1 counter and steals important abilities, especially if you're the first one to play an action. You attack, you do this. They can't do anything else. Yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't stop other events from happening, or plot twists, but it's really solid. Then for resources, I run 4 academies to activate Dutch's level 2 ability, and then 4 training grounds to activate Dutch's red ability to prevent them from team attacking and to get Poncho some action. I don't run the Predator team ability or team location. The kids have that in a different deck, but I found that I don't really need it because you have Anna. Anna is that good. I mean, she activates as Amplify. She activates the ability that you need. You really only need to use Dutch's ability. This deck's more about your location, or your not your locations, your plot twists, and Dutch's ability, and then just making huge range attacks. Dutch can generally hold off a whole lot by himself. And then the last two locations, one of each of a Predator ship and a Val Verdun jungle, to turn on the abilities of the Jungle Hunter. And because you're never going to use these, they're always going to be face up. Rarely do I not go get one of those. And so that's the deck that we have, and that's currently my favorite deck. I play it whenever the kids will let me. It does really well. You should give it a try. We just got the Shield versus Hydra stuff, so that's going to change up our metagame quite a bit. And so we look forward to playing it, and we'll be doing events, or not events, but videos on those, and then having events at our house here and seeing what deck comes out the best. And from all of us here, we thank you for watching and have a good time playing games. Goodbye.